Hello, 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 hello. How are you? I'm Dom. This is Dom's Sketchcast, episode 29. If you're listening to this on iTunes, welcome. If you're watching this on Spotify, welcome. If you're listening to this on YouTube, welcome. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. It's a beautiful day to be creative, to be nice to yourself, and I'm going to focus on being nice to yourself. It's a good day to do that. To be creative, to make shit. Behind me, I got a bunch of Basquiat paintings that are on slideshow mode, just snapping by. Beautiful, weird shit happening. I hope there's a lot of beautiful, weird shit happening in your life as well. Hopefully on the creative side. Before we get into this show, I got some quick announcements. As always, I got to thank the patrons. Got to thank everyone who signs up on patreon.com/valet. That's the main way I can support this show and keep this thing going and pay everybody who helps me. Make sure that they get a little taste. Make sure they're compensated fairly. Patreon.com/valet. If you go on there, I got little gifts. I got little things that I sprinkle there throughout the week. Old sketches from my sketch vault, sketches that you'll never see anywhere else. Also behind the scenes footage, behind the scenes audio vlogs and stuff like that. This week, what I'm putting on Patreon, what you can see there right now is an explanation of some of the stuff I did for the Flamagra drawing too. I asked you guys to tell me what deep questions you have about the lore, and I answered some of those questions. And you can see that right now on the Patreon page. I think some of you have expressed interest in me critiquing some of your work or giving you advice on it. I'm open to that. I'm open to doing that sort of thing. You guys just let me know your level of interest in that, and that can be a thing that I do on the Patreon. Because I think I'd be more interested in doing that than tutorials. People have asked about tutorials in the past. I just don't know what I would be teaching you all because I haven't really gotten the feedback on that sort of thing. If you do want tutorials, you let me know. Let me know what kind of thing you wanted to see. You would like to see. Okay. Second announcement I have is the Flamagra drawing that I made during the Flamagra drawing 2 is for sale right now. There's still prints left of what you see right now on your screen, right in front of my face. Limited edition, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. I only made 10 of these. There's still a couple left. You can go right now on domrabron.com/shop. I believe it's 8 by 10 inches on matte paper. Somewhere around maybe 8.5 by 12, something like that, on matte paper, limited edition, very high quality. I spent an interesting amount of time on this. I'm not going to say a long amount of time, but I did this during the Flamagra video, which is very important to me, and I hope you all watched that and enjoyed it as well. Head over to domrabron.com/shop. Then go to the print section. I'm altering the shop a little bit more so that's easier for you all to navigate. I'm aware that there's some issues on there, so I'm going to be fixing that as well. Thank you. Thank you. Those of you who've been buying these things. Something weird happened to me on the bus yesterday. I'm going to tell you this story. It's Friday afternoon. I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday afternoon. I had a run-in with a supernatural being. Now, this isn't unusual for me. These kinds of things happen to me. You guys know that. I've run into vampires. I've run into soap demons. I've run into esophagus entities, esophageal entities, beings shaped like throats floating around in the dream world, trying to attack me, or perhaps getting me to buy things. But yesterday, what I encountered was truly strange. Really weird shit. So I'm on the bus, sitting there drawing in this notebook you see right here. This notebook you see right here in front of you. And I was in the back of the bus, And there's this couple sitting next to each other. They seemed to be young, somewhere between like, I don't know, like 17 and like 30, something like that. The guy had kind of like reddish purple skin. His girlfriend, laying beside him, had yellow skin, but it was like sort of flickering in and out like a candlelight. It was kind of hard to get a look at her. Like anytime I looked over at her, she was kind of like there or she wasn't there. Sort of like the color of like glowing honey wax. So she's leaned up against him. He's got his arm around her, right? Classic way lovers have leaned up against each other for millennia, right? And this guy walks in. This guy walks into the bus, and he's all done up. He has his button-down shirt, his khakis. He just got off work, just like I did. And I'm sitting there drawing, and they're to the left of me. This guy with the khakis comes in, sits in front of me, and he's on his phone. He's just doodling. He's just doing whatever the fuck he's doing on his phone. I'm sitting here writing. I can actually tell you what I was writing. I was designing some stuff for my animation series, my living, breathing animation series that started at the Flamagra drawing too. Sort of started in the Igor drawing too, actually, and continued in a big way in the Flamagra drawing too. Taking notes for that. And this couple on the left, the guy was awake, girlfriend was asleep. Guy in front of me, wearing the khakis, he's on his phone. And all I can imagine is that he had his phone up like this in front of him, vertically. He was doing something and sort of studying intently. And maybe the phone was tilted. The phone was tilted a little bit towards this couple to the left of me, to his right. I can only imagine that's what the case was because the guy with the red skin, the weird-looking boyfriend, who's kind of young and kind of old-looking, he turns to the guy and he goes, "Hey, you recording me? What you doing with that phone?" The guy with the khakis is like, "Oh no, I was." He's stuttering. I see the words coming out of his mouth. They're floating around, dropping on the ground, scattering. He bends over, he picks them up. I was, and he was like, "Were you? I know you're not recording me and my girlfriend right now." It was a tense moment. The guy's babbling. He's looking around, looking at the words on the floor, looks around in the bus. Seems like a lot of time passed in between him stuttering and this red guy looking at him like, "We got a problem here?" Khakis guy. He's like, no, listen. This is exactly what he said. This happened to me yesterday. He goes, "No, I would never do that. I would never do something like that. I was actually just checking. I was checking one of my apps. That's why I had my phone up. Like no, I would never do that." Nervous chuckling. He puts his phone. He tilts it down for the rest of the bus ride. As we're riding up hills, down hills, riding through the desert, riding through forests. So the red guy, he nods. He's like, okay. Doesn't really acknowledge it. He's looking forward. Hand still on his girlfriend. She hasn't woken up at this point. She's still glowing, flickering. I'm writing all of this stuff down, though. I'm writing everything that's happened. From the moment he asked the guy, "You recording this?" I've been writing it down because I think it's hilarious. I think it's really funny. And I knew that at this moment right now, I would want to tell you all about it. Because this was yesterday. I'm recording this show right now, today, Friday. I'm jotting it down with my little 2B Statler pencil. And we go on for like 2 minutes riding around. I think maybe there's like 10 more minutes to the destination. And this guy turns to look at me at this point. And now I'm like, oh shit. I haven't really looked at this guy directly. I've been looking at my notebook and writing the whole time. Fly on the wall. Thinking to myself, this is a great story, right? What a nice, fun story. Kind of funny. No harm done. If the guy wasn't actually recording them, which I don't think he was. Who knows, though? Who knows these days? And he turns to me and he's like, "Hey, are you writing about my girlfriend and I? Are you writing about us?" And I was like, oh shit. Now I'm involved. Now I'm involved in this shit. Very tense. Very tense moment. Immediately my heart starts racing. Because I don't really know jack shit about this guy. All I saw was that his skin is red. I didn't mention this part. He actually had a little horn. Just one horn going this way. And it was one of those curly horns. No, I don't speak demon. I don't know much about demon lineage. That's not my area of expertise. Okay? That's not what I do. All my demon hunter friends are not around. I don't think there were any other demons on the bus. This guy might not have even been a demon. Could have just been a red guy who glued a horn to his head. But anyway, what happened next is I paused and then I looked up at him. And then I knew I had a problem. I got a good look at this guy for the first time. He had a horn coming out this side of his head. One of his eyes was, it was like sunken in, but not physically. Sort of like, it was sunken in the way it was like, if you look at a picture of a black hole and it's sucking in everything around it, it was like visually everything around his eyeball was sort of swirling around his eye and just being pulled into it. It was like a deep, deep, piercing blackness that almost like threatened to pull you into it. And immediately I'm stuttering because I'm like, listen, I don't know what level this guy is. I don't know what's going to happen if we get into an altercation. I'm just now learning magical abilities. I'm just now getting like level 1 spells. How am I supposed to take this guy on? I can't even conjure yet. I'm barely a necromancer. What the hell am I going to be able to do here? I don't have anything that's dead around me. Besides the dead carpet and plastic on the bus. The dead paper I'm using. And maybe if I were some kind of level 80 necromancer, I could do something like wind the paper up and since it's dead, conjure it into a shape that I could maybe use as a dagger. But I don't have that skill. I haven't been taught that. No one's taught me that. So I did what anyone else would have done in that situation. I did the right thing. I tried to lie. I lied. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. And then I turned the page. Very slick, right? Turn the page. That moment, that thing that I did, that's what saved my life. I'm convinced. I'm convinced I saved my life because I turned the page. Because what happened next, I couldn't predict. And I don't think you could predict it either. There's no way. What happened next is, after I turned the page and I tried to keep drawing, keep my head down, whatever, the notebook gets yanked out of my hand. Like it wasn't even my possession to have. Yanked out of my hand, it's floating in front of me. Not even like a jagged, like bobbing way. It's just clean yank, floating in front of me, and then it's floating in front of him. So immediately I know that shit is about to go down because he's a telekinetic. And we all know you don't fuck with telekinetics. These people will fuck your life up. Especially if they're higher level. They can fuck your shit up even if they're level 1. But this guy, to be able to do this, to be able to waste his abilities, to waste a spell on just antagonizing a civilian on the bus, this definitely meant that he's way more powerful than I suspected. I don't know why he was on a bus. I mean, to being that powerful, no idea. He could have hired a chauffeur or something with that level of ability. The notebook, he pulls it in front of him. His girlfriend's still asleep, mind you. The notebook floats in front of his face, right? And it's doing this. It's just bobbing slowly in front of him. And he squints his eyes and he's like, it's just, at this point, it's a blank page with just a few things I've been jotting down on it. He narrows his eyes, looks back at me, and then he floats it back over. And I take it and I don't say shit to him because I'm terrified at this point. And then he just keeps looking forward. And I don't say jack shit until the end of the ride. Guy in front of me has not been saying jack shit either. He's looking down at his phone. He's terrified. So when it gets to the stop, the final stop, we get to the station. I get up. And the telekinetic guy and his glowing golden girlfriend. He looks up at me and just really calm. He looks up at me and he goes, "The next time I see you, we're going to have to fight." Again, I said nothing. I'm taking off. I'm walking my ass off the bus. I got my duffel bag. Peace. I say nothing. Get off the bus. I do not look over my shoulder. I do not pause. I do not look back. I do not put my headphones in my ear. I don't think about it. I am just moving my ass. Anything could happen at this point. He could crush my windpipe. He could use the straps in my bag to just wrap around my neck and just... This guy might be strong enough to take my intestines and just kind of yank them out of my stomach. Just a little bit. Just enough to cause internal bleeding. I don't know. Anything could fucking happen. But what did happen is I went home and I didn't look over my shoulder. I don't know what happened to that guy. I don't know what happened to the other guy with the khakis. So yeah, weird stuff has been happening. Ever since that Flamagra drawing too. Ever since I met the dead king, things have been weird. So, that's what happened yesterday. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'll let you guys know any other weird occurrences that happen, or how I'm trying to exist in this new different place. We have questions that I'm going to read and answer. I'm going to try to get to about 2 of them. Got to remind you all, if you have questions for me, you can send them to me on Instagram DM, but my favorite way to answer your questions is for you to email me at ask@domrabron.com. Ask@domrabron.com. Let's get to this one right fucking now. Tommy Tootsters, legendary valet, great valet. Tommy Tootsters asks, here's a would you rather question. He says, hey Dom, I was watching Ralph Breaks the Internet, and for some reason that film gave me this thought. Would you rather make a biopic on your homie Jean-Michel Basquiat, or direct a film written by Neil Gaiman? Ooh, brother, that's a tough one. God damn. Ugh. Make a biopic about Basquiat. You know, I think we're talking about the living and the dead here. That's what you're asking me. And as much as I like to deal with dead artists, as much as I think about Basquiat, I mean, he's right behind me right now. His early drawings are behind me right now. So you would think that I'd be leaning into the serendipity of that and being like, oh, I want to jump into that. There have been a lot of Basquiat movies. There have been a bunch, like Radiant Child. You know, there was the one that Jeffrey Wright starred in. And those things existed already. If I were to do a Basquiat movie, I think I would make it animated. I would make it sort of more like Waking Life, where it's sort of like, you know, we get the actor to do it, but I want him to be shifting in and out of, like, he's black 1 second, like completely black, and then he's red, and then he's yellow, and just sort of like a frenetic thing where his words are coming out of his mouth and things are being duplicated. Like when he meets Warhol, I want Warhol to just be like a duplication of himself. That's just a little taste of what I would do. But like I said, those things exist already. A person like me directing something that Neil Gaiman wrote, that doesn't exist. There aren't a lot of animations. Like Coraline, stuff like that. Maybe, I think the Graveyard Book was in production. But there aren't a lot of stuff. There aren't a lot of things made by people like me involved in the Neil Gaiman sphere. One day when I get back to that white room that I trapped Neil Gaiman in, maybe I'll ask him about something like that. And that would be cool. It would be really cool if he would allow me to do something like that. So I'm really excited by Gaiman's work overall, and I'm just I'm obsessed with this idea that one day I'll get to meet him again, either inside or outside the white room. So yeah, excellent question, Tommy. Thank you for that. Can I answer another question off IG? Question from IG, from Ivory Life. What do you think about people who just consume content but never create any? I have no problem with that. You realize that that's like someone saying, what about people who eat food but never cook? That's fine. That's what life is. You know, there's no issue with that. I take no issue with that sort of thing, because that's what the vast majority of everyone is. I mean, I'm talking probably like 98% of the people who have ever existed maybe are like that. You know, they take in stories. But if you want to get technical, every time you talk, you are making content technically. But if you want to use the definition that we like, you're talking about stuff that we've recorded. You're talking about stuff that we've deliberately and intentionally recorded for people's consumption in the present and in the future. So, like I said, probably 98% of people aren't like that, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that sort of thing. What I don't like is I have issues with critiques and critics sometimes. I have issues with people who consume content and again, they don't make criticism their content. I have issues with people who are primarily consumers, don't make content, but are heavily criticizing everything. People are allowed to have taste, but I'm not really into people who are just, oh, that sucked and that sucked too, and this sucked and that sucked. When it's like you've never made anything. And this is just a personal opinion of mine where it's like I take a lot more I take the word of a critic who is making content out of it and is putting themselves on the line. I respect their opinion more than someone who's just, they don't make anything, but they're just criticizing. Like they've never risked anything and they just criticize. That's bad and that too. Don't like that. I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. Last question we'll answer is from David Argueta. David Argueta. Is that how you pronounce your name, dude? Which of the two do you believe is the best medium? A graphic novel or a novel? I think a better way to ask that question is like, which do you prefer out of this? But you said which is the best. I don't think either of these are the best medium. I think the best medium for me is this right here. This digital shit. This shit that's, because to me it's mixed media. It's audio. There's audio incorporated in it. It moves. You can scroll back and forth. You can expand it. You can put filters over it. There's so much that's available in the digital medium. So I think that's really the best. But if I had to choose between those two that you showed me, that you presented to me, there were times when I would have said a novel is better, but these days I think I would say graphic novel. Graphic novel because I'm just more into graphic stuff right now. That's what I'm into. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you for asking them. I'm going to be sending you all a little gift. Yeah, that's right. You get rewarded. You get rewarded for sending questions in. I'm going to send you a gift in the version of a little digital card, a Valet the Summoning card. This is an original piece of artwork, original piece of digital artwork that I just made in the form of a Valet the Summoning card. It's going to look something like this. I will only show it to patrons. Only patrons will get to see it, and the people I directly send it to. So I'm going to just show you, like, this is kind of what it looks like. But this isn't going to be the actual thing. I'm going to directly email you guys or DM you. Thank you for sending in questions. And perhaps you, whenever you ask a question on ask@domrabber.com or DM me, and I choose to answer your question, perhaps you'll get a card as well next time. So let that be a little more incentive for you. And I hope to hear from you all next time. Hope you enjoyed my story about the telekinetic. If you have any questions about the telekinetic guy or what I plan on doing with him, if I see him again, let me know. If you have any suggestions about telekinetics, I'd be curious about how you have dealt with them in the past, how you plan on dealing with them. Anyone who has experience with telekinetics, let me know. Or if you have telekinetic abilities, I'd like to know because I'm a little bit terrified. I think I'm playing it off pretty well, but like if I see this guy again, do not know what's about to happen. So yeah, let me know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Do not forget, patreon.com/valet. Head over there. Donate a couple bucks every month. You'll get something back. But with the caveat, I would like for you guys to be active on there. Let me know what you want so that I can deliver it. Shout out to Top Tier Valet, Asa James, for always being there. Thank you. And thank you to the rest of you. I will see you next episode next week, Friday, bright and early. Okay.